Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. I've decided to create a new kind of small mini series where I kind of discuss some of my existing watch collection and the fact that, there's always new watches being released daily. You've got magazine sources online, things like Hodinkee, Watches and One. There's so many of these online kind of magazines or online things that I look at, and they always come up on my feed, on my phone, etc. And there's new and new watches. Always being released. Be it, Rolex, for example, make 1 million watches a year. Omega, according to online sources, around about 500,000. Huge quantity of watches. Tudor, again, a large amount. And they're always bringing out new watches, and that's really good. It's good for the industry, great for collectors, good for the hobby. People are into it. But it's got me thinking that, some of our existing watches that I've got, there are little flaws. It's always difficult to find the most perfect watch in the world. You always. I don't think it can ever be done because, tastes, designs, our likes, they all change and everything's subjective. So, looking back and reflecting, I've decided. Some of my existing collection, because I've got a lot of watches, but I'm really into it. I do like wearing different pieces all the time. So some of the existing watches I've thought, okay, could be perhaps maybe do a kind of quick mod. Could I improve wearability? Maybe improve the look of it, the aesthetics. Wearability, how it fits, the comfort. Is it lightweight, or could I reduce the weight, or perhaps make it more vintage or more modern? There's a whole endless amount of things you can do to watches. So this being the first episode, I decided to focus on my a watch I really do like. It's the older Omega Seamaster 41 mil, which is the pre-wave dial, still a ceramic. So this is pre 2018. I think it came out around about 2012 or 2014. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, really nice watch. This is the black version. There is a nice blue one. I went with the black. I bought it used on eBay. I'm always looking on eBay every now and then for a good deal, and I found this on there. But I like this watch in that it's pretty versatile. It's a bit clunky. Not clunky, it's got a bit of heft with the 20 mil bracelet, the width of the bracelet all the way around. There's no taper on it, which is slightly... They could have done it could do with a bit of tapering, but it's part of their design and their heritage as such. So I thought to myself, what could be done to this watch, because I enjoy wearing it. For me, it's a nice everyday kind of piece. Again, I don't really wear it every day, but I do. If I do go out with some friends, play card games, or if I ever go to a club, don't do now, a bit older now, but if we ever go out on a night out, this is my first choice, one of my first picks. It's nice, it's glossy, it looks like a nice watch, and it's not the most expensive watch in the world either. You can probably pick these up for about 1,800 to 22 to 24, being a really nice mint conditioned one, like an excellent example. And for that sort of money, you're getting a very capable, competent diver. Not that I would say this would be... I don't even dive, but this wouldn't be my first choice of watch if I was a diver or a professional diver. I'd have thought that would have been a Pelagos, or as in the OG Pelagos, the 42, or something along those lines. But no, it's a nice watch, great for holidays, going out. Again, you can play around with it on straps, but no, I think this is a really good... if you were to have one kind of Swiss piece, and another range of, say, G-Shocks or other kind of beta watches, quartzes, this would be a good choice for you. So anyway, going back to mods on it and what I think I've done. Let me take it off 1 second. So I initially upgraded it by putting there's a different clasp. This is an original clasp, but it actually has on-the-fly adjustment, so you can increase or decrease in small increments the length of the bracelet. So you can always get a perfect fit. And as you know, in the summer, as your wrist kind of expands and contracts depending on the weather, time of the day, or what if you're thirsty or whatever, just ensures a nice bit of comfort. And for a while, I've been happy with this. I mean, it's nice. It's a good upgrade. I mean, you do get it on the. It's a standard issue on the bracelet of the newer model, the 42mm Seamaster. But you can actually get these and retrofit them to the older model. So does kind of bring this watch up to date in terms of wearability. But there was, I mean, the thing is, do we really need to keep buying new watches, or can we just, modify or improve some of the existing watches? And that got me thinking. So, I shop around. I'm always looking for things to do. How can I improve it? As I mentioned earlier, can I, make it more wearable, improve the aesthetics, or make it lighter? And that I found a company called Forstner. Now, I've had a look online, and really difficult to find anything for this particular model, the 41mm. So I bought a Forstner bracelet because I have got one of these in with the white dial, the 42mm. So, but that will be in another episode, because that one I actually modded earlier. But I think I did a really good transformation in this, and what I did, rather than go for the bullet bracelet with the 1461, which is technically more Omega, I went with a Jubilee strap for this. So it's now almost a Omega, should we say? Let's coin it the C-Just. So it's quite different. I mean, it's a play on it because, Jubilee's traditionally kind of Rolex based. Not that Rolex invented it. Rolex never invented the Jubilee. So for all you Rolex fanboys that think they did, they didn't. They actually just bought the manufacturer, who I'm not sure who they are, but whoever. Maybe they design. I'm not sure if they designed it or not, but whoever the manufacturer was of the Jubilee bracelet, Rolex just bought them and eventually made them in house, like all the dial manufacturers and all the bracelet manufacturers. Rolex just eventually bought them through some how do you say, vertical or horizontal integration from my old studies. So look, let's get this bracelet on and tell me what you think. I'll give you a little twirl with it. With the existing bracelet. This is natural light coming in, so you can get an idea of what the watch looks like in the daylight. It is quite sunny, so that's quite nice. Give me a second, let me put it back on my wrist. So for those of you who want to know, my wrist is 7 inches. A bit of a bony wrist, I'd say. So it's a bit of a flat wrist, but there's no such thing as the perfect wrist size. So my 7-inch wrist is going to be different to someone else's 7-inch wrist. But hopefully this gives you an idea. If you've got a smaller wrist, this is a good Seamaster to go with. I would say the 42, the model after this, does wear it does wear larger. And I think this is, if you've got a smaller wrist, this is probably a better one to go for. Because, at the end of the day, I mean, the Seamaster 300 is an iconic design, iconic design, classic watch, and the brand Omega, it has got an element of panache to it. Okay, so here you go. Here it is on the OEM bracelet with an OEM clasp, an upgraded clasp, admittedly. It's got a nice heft to it. It's you can feel it's a watch with a bit of quality, has heft, but there's no taper. It's a bit clunky, I'd say. That's my verdict of it. It's a clunky but quality feeling watch. Again, not too thick, a good size. So let's get it onto the new bracelet and tell me what you think. So here you go. I'll tell you what, I'm going to just polish it 1 second. Right, sorry about that. Here we are. So here it is, fitted on a Jubilee. Now it is a bit of a smudge magnet, having an all gloss dial and the ceramic bezel. So it needed a bit of a polish, as you could have probably seen the fingerprint marks on it. So what do you think? Fitted with a Jubilee from Forstner. I'd call this the C-just, or to coin a phrase. It's different. I mean, putting technically what one would associate with Rolex. Putting on a Rolex classic bracelet. But we now actually have taper, which really does improve the wearability of this watch. I forgot to actually take the measurements, the weight measurement of the watch. But there is actually quite a substantial saving on there. I will put it on a scales for you to have a look at with the Forstner bracelet. So yeah, it's quite a lot lighter. It's sort of made the watch a tad more dressy, but you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you know, it's got presence. Sits quite nicely. It doesn't feel as solid as the original bracelet, because again, that is an OEM bracelet, but you know, it's comfortable, has a bit of stretch. It doesn't have any adjustability on the clasp, but I did wear it over a week, and to be honest, I really didn't have any problems. Nothing too major. There is always a little bit of stretch in a Jubilee, so that was quite handy. What do you think, guys? A worthy upgrade? Or would you say, nah, it's a downgrade? I'll take it off my wrist for you to have a look. And that's it further away. So obviously when it's closer, when it's a bit more closer, it probably looks a lot bigger on my wrist, but this is what it would look like in the real world. It's quite a cool upgrade. I mean, it just doesn't cost the end of the earth, but it gives it quite a new look. And the watch feels very different. Let me take it off the wrist. There, in the shade. One more little twirl. So here we are, holding the watch. Yeah, a very, very different kind of look with the Jubilee. I've got to say, it is a very different look. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of stretch. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not like a very worn old Rolex. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I mean, you have to remember, this doesn't cost, I think this is about 150 odd quid. So it's not the end of it's not the most expensive thing. Not cheap, but not too dear. There you go. The other good thing is you do get a lot of holes to micro adjust the clasp, which is really good. I mean, OEM manufacturers should take note. I mean, this just allows you so much custom ability to find the right size for you, the right fit. I guess you could, if it is too tight, you could always do it on the go, on the fly with a pin. Obviously that's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. So that's what it looks like. What do you think? I mean, does it work? I'd like to hear your comments, guys. I actually quite like it. At first I thought it was a bit different. I thought I should have actually gone with the 1461, which is more classically Omega. But again, I have got the 41mm, which I will do on another episode. Sorry, not the 41, the 42mm in white, the white dial, white ceramic. I will do a video on that, because I did actually put the bullet on that, and that really does look great. So part of me was thinking, you know what, try something different. And you know, you don't have to live by convention. Yes, the Bullet is technically more of an Omega design, and yes, the Jubilee or Model J, I think Forstner call it, is more Rolex. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole point of the series is really to see, can I improve the comfort? Is it necessarily worth selling old watches? Could 100 quid here or there just change the experience, you know, and save you from having to buy a new watch and the headache of or the hassle of selling an old one? And you know, sometimes just putting something like a strap on a watch, or again something maybe a bit more drastic as such, like a bracelet change or bracelet swap, it really does improve the watch. I mean, it just changes the experience of the watch, you know. It changes the wearability, changes the feeling, and you know, sometimes it does give you that new watch feeling. What do you think? Do you guys agree with me that changing something like a strap, or even go as far as doing a bracelet change, does it affect how you feel? Does it change your opinion on the watch? Do you feel like it's a new watch again? One thing I do like about the Seamaster is the case back. It is really cool. Okay, you can't see the movement, but the engraving is really nicely done. Very, very nicely done. Look, let me go outside and show you what the watch looks like in the outside. Even though this is natural light, I do like to give those of you who watch my videos a real life perspective of what watches look like in the real world. And yeah, you know, thanks for watching. I'm going to just head outside now. Please do subscribe, because you know, these are all my watches. I just give you my honest opinion. I don't really have any. I have no hidden agenda. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I couldn't really give a monkeys. I'll just tell you straight up what's my opinion and where I'm coming from. And I don't really script anything I talk about. I just talk on the go. So yeah, the whole point of this series is, like I mentioned earlier, do we need to buy a new watch? Could we just spend a small amount of money in the grand scheme of things to, you know, change it or improve wearability? Or even if you're looking at one of these watches, maybe you're thinking, oh, okay, that actually looks quite good. I quite like the upgrade, or quite like the different change. Maybe I will buy one, because, you know, something like this, buying on the used, well, you can't buy these new anymore. Maybe you might be able to get a NOS model. Well, that would be really lucky, because it is a good watch. But buying one of these, you know, on eBay or secondhand or from wherever, these are a good deal. These are pretty cheap. These are, like I said, from about 1,800 to 2,200, you're getting a good quality watch for that. I would definitely say, I mean, it's got more panache than the Black Bay 58. You can wear this to like formal events. Again, you will feel a bit Bondish, James Bond like, and people know what it is. It's a nice looking watch, and I just really like the glossiness of the dial. Got a bit of a 1 second. The glossiness of the dial and the ceramic bezel. The lume's pretty good on this watch as well. I will do a lume shot to give you an idea. Let's pop that over there. Let's do a lume shot, and let me take this outside for you. There you go. So here's a lume shot. It did get a good charge because I was sitting in like direct sunlight. And this is a 2016 watch, with this sort of bluish lume. It's a good. It's so. I mean, this is anyway. It's an Omega. There's an element of quality to it, and the lume you get is really good. Nice and bright, and there you go. It's not really focusing too well, but you do get a good amount of lume on here. So let's head out now. So here we are. We're outside. I do quite like the yellow chair, because it gives you a bit of a contrast. It makes the shot slightly interesting. So here you go. As I mentioned earlier, it's a 7-inch wrist. it fits quite nicely. Weighs less now. Has a nice taper from 20mm to 16mm, I believe. So it's now almost like a modern watch that feels a bit more vintagey. What do you think? Do you think it works? Or do you think I've actually ruined it? Please comment, guys. Really would appreciate you subscribing, because there's quite a few more episodes and quite a few more watches to cover. Thanks a lot.